Shalom. I wanted to talk to you about Hanukkah. Now, in order to really make the most out of this, I urge you to read or to watch Jewu 31, which is where I explain the scholarly views about Hanukkah today, and also 312, perhaps Jewu 312 about a sermonette on Hanukkah, and maybe even Jewu 290 on Hanukkah and the Christmas dilemma. But let me just tell you what inspired this video about Saturnalia and Hanukkah. I was watching The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he had this cute little bit about Hanukkah and Christmas, and the Christian dressed up as Santa Claus was giving this eloquent explanation about Christmas, and John Daly was fumbling around and making fun of, basically saying Hanukkah has no real message. And that is so wrong. Hanukkah has the most important messages in the world. It has the messages about political and religious freedom. It's the heart of America. It's the heart of Zionism. So I definitely think that Jews have got to, and people who care about freedom, political and religious freedom, have got to understand the story of Hanukkah, its historical context. So really watch Jewu 31. But this is a little bit different because it's a piece of Hanukkah that I've never talked to you about before, and that has to do with a Roman holiday called Saturnalia. The reason why this is significant is it takes place in the year 217 BC. Now Hanukkah is 165 BC, so this is just 50 years before. Rome wasn't the great Rome that it was when they destroyed the temple in the year 70 of the Common Era. It was not as powerful as Greece yet, but it was rising up as an empire. They suffered a horrible military defeat in 217 BCE, and they decided to try and divert the attention of the population by instituting this new holiday, which was the dedication of the Temple of Saturn. Note the parallel with the rededication of the Holy Temple in Hanukkah. Here is the dedication of the Temple of Saturn. And it was an 8-day holiday. Note the pattern, 8 days. And it involved gambling, like we have with dreidel, and it was a light festival. And it was during the winter solstice period of December 17th to December 23rd. By the way, Christmas, which is December 25th, has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. He wasn't born on December 25th. But you can see that that period of the year, which is the lightest, least amount of light available, he has these light festivals. And so when the rabbis were going to institute a festival, they picked an 8-day festival, dedication of the temple. And even though in Jewu 31, I argue he has to do a lot more with Sukkot, the 8 days, there's another scholarly position that possibly has instead to do with Saturnalia, this Roman feast 50 years before Hanukkah, dedicated to the dedication of the temple for Saturn. Now, I just want to also tell you one other interesting thing about this. There's an ancient midrash that goes back about 2,000 years that talks about how Adam, when he began to experience the darker days, and he thought the sun was disappearing, he said, "We're doomed, I must have because I sinned." And then once the sun began to get longer and longer, and the days got longer, he said, "Oh no, I'm going to thrive." He thanked God. He instituted a holiday for 8 days. And that seems a lot more to do with perhaps Saturnalia than the other reason given for Hanukkah. So this is another view of the significance of Hanukkah, possibly part of its historical context. Again, it has the themes of dedication of a temple, gambling, 8 days, the festive nature, giving gifts was a part of Saturnalia. I think that it adds some additional insight into the holiday of Hanukkah.